Imagine that BeamNG's community suddenly stopped playing the game and it vanished from the market. This sounds like a very far-fetched scenario and is unlikely to happen, right? What if I told you that this could be the sad future of our beloved vehicle sandbox game? In this video, we'll take a closer look at the problems facing BeamNG and its community. But first, a quick disclaimer. I'm aware that this is an early access title, so I'm not referring to the countless bugs or missing content. I'm talking about much more fundamental issues. So let's get straight to the core problem. BeamNG Drive became popular in the wrong way. Okay, let me explain the statement. Almost everywhere you go, people refer to BeamNG as a crashing simulator. Even though it was indeed centered around crashing a few years ago, and still has the by far most advanced soft body physics of any game, it's more than just a crashing simulator. It's an open world vehicle sandbox, capable of doing anything you can think of. But how did it get its false reputation? To better understand this, we need to go back in time to the year BeamNG was first announced. On May 29, 2012, a showcase video titled Revolutionary Soft Body Physics in CryEngine 3 was released on BeamNG's official YouTube channel and quickly reached a wide audience. A fun fact on this topic: when this was released, wild conspiracy theories were made up. For example, some people believed that this was work in progress footage for Grand Theft Auto 5. Anyways, it's safe to say that BeamNG was originally intended to be a game featuring stunning soft body physics, nothing more, nothing less. As soon as the game was released to the public, thousands of crash compilations were posted on YouTube, and since nothing like this has ever been seen before, it went viral in the most extreme way possible. While there's nothing wrong about this, I mean most players, including myself, have found out about BeamNG like this, there's a catch. The developers went for a different approach with the software. They were working hard on creating the perfect, versatile, physics-based driving simulation. In other words, the most realistic vehicle game ever created. But the average player bought the game only for the crashing part. They downloaded the car jump arena, jumped a few cars down there, and then got bored, closed the game, and maybe never touched it ever again. This was quite bad for BeamNG because it didn't unleash its full potential, and it simply didn't reach the right audience. If you think this problem is a thing of the past, I have good and bad news for you. On one hand, more and more people have finally realized the true potential of BeamNG, but on the other hand, the problem has become much worse with the rise of short-form content. I don't think it's necessary to elaborate, you all know what I'm talking about.
Ash, if you're a bad YouTuber. Skyfall.
BeamNG Drive is often used for cringe and low-quality content that mainly appeals to kids and, ironically, is sometimes even offensive. Everyone who doesn't live under a rock has seen these videos, and you may not realize how bad it actually is. To put it into perspective, when I first told my real-life friends that I make videos on BeamNG, their first reaction was, "Oh, you mean that cringe game where you have to jump cars over buses and drive a gigantic Lightning McQueen down a mountain?" This brings us to the next point, the modding community. And don't get me wrong, I've never seen a game with such a talented modding community. There are a large number of mods that match and sometimes even exceed developer quality. Some of these modders actually become developers of the game. This is mainly because the developers of BeamNG actually promote modding instead of banning it, like most other game developers. But this freedom does not only have positive effects, it also makes it easier to create things like this. And don't even get me started on ModPlant or similar sites. Please don't download mods from there.
Hello, your computer has virus.
Speaking of mods, we have to address the controversial topic of paid mods. Personally, I completely understand that creating mods is very time consuming, so I accept that some mods cost money. However, this only applies to high quality mods, as charging $10 or even more for a mesh lab is scamming in my opinion. But what's your opinion on paid mods? Share it in the comments. Now let's move on to the developers. There's not much to say, in fact I had a hard time finding any negative points about them. Except for one thing, their Steam page. BeamNG's graphics have been improved by a lot over the last few years, but the trailers and screenshots on their Steam page have not been updated. The game doesn't look like this anymore. It looks like this. And it certainly doesn't look like this. It looks like this. So, if BeamNG developer is watching this right now, please update the page or forward the idea to whoever is responsible for this if they aren't already aware of it. I feel like this holds back so many potential players of BeamNG simply because it looks outdated. And it's just sad in my opinion that BeamNG is judged under its value. For the next part, I've asked my community on YouTube and Discord what their biggest concern with the game was, and honestly, the answers kinda surprised me. On one side, many of the points I already touched or mentioned, but I didn't expect to find this many people hating the recent updates. Long story short, many complain about the tons of off-road content being added. It almost seems like the developers are only focusing on off-roading. To be fair, BeamNG is actually one of the few simulations that manages to create a realistic and authentic feeling when driving off-road, so it makes perfect sense for the developers to focus on it. But I'm not a big fan of off-roading myself, so I get people complaining about it. However, a big thanks goes to Theme Tortoise 2 for sharing the following theory. It's possible that the developers wanted to release all this content in the already huge update 0.27, but just didn't get ready in time. All the off-road content we're getting now is basically leftovers. This would mean that the off-road theme will most likely end soon, and they either revert to the random updates like before, or move on to another theme. I know, I said at the beginning that I won't talk about missing features or content, but seeing how many people mentioned this, I have to address it shortly. As you may know, BeamNG's headquarters are located in Germany, and BeamNG was founded in Germany too. Isn't it strange then that we have barely any European content? From the 14 maps in the game, 7 are American. Only one map, if you can even call it a map, is located in Germany, and the only actual European map is quite outdated. In terms of vehicles, the difference between American and European content is a lot smaller though. And although this video is about another topic, I think I speak for the community if I say that we will love more European content. Before we answer the question of whether BeamNG is underrated, fairly rated or overrated, I want to clarify why these issues I mentioned could actually mean the end of BeamNG. You may have noticed that the community plays an important role in the development of this game. The developers rely on input and ideas from the community. But now that the community seems to be breaking apart, that system won't work anymore. Last but not least, let's take a look at whether BeamNG is underrated or overrated. Considering that more or less everyone who is at least somewhat interested in computer games and vehicles knows this game, it can certainly be called popular. But since only a fraction of players actually know what it's capable of, I'd say it's a bit underrated. I'm confident though, that with the upcoming career mode, people will see the true potential of BeamNG and it will hopefully increase the game's player count. Please keep in mind that this video is far from covering all issues. For example, I've intentionally avoided talking about the dramas going on in the BeamNG community because I really don't want to get involved. However, I hope I was able to give you a quick overview and maybe change your opinion on how you see the game. Anyways, thanks for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it and see you next time.